Hey everybody, welcome back to the range. It's quarantine 2020 / stay at home 2020, but guess who's out shooting? This guy, my leisure activity. Got some 5.7x28mm to check out today from Vanguard Outfitters. This is their 55 grain Subsonic load for their pistols. Let's throw this on the table and see what we have in store today. It's right around 50 to 55 degrees outside today. Good day for a little leisure activity. We're going to do something a little different with this. Normally we test multiple barrel lengths, but this is marked pistol only. Off camera, we shot the CMMG 8-inch MK57 conversion. We were just above supersonic in the 1188 to 1220 feet per second range, so we're not going to use any longer barrels, but we're going to use the Ruger 5.7, we're going to use the original USG 5.7, the DT Chaos slide cover 5.7, and a plain Jane Mark II. So we're going to have 4 different guns that we're going to try this through to see if we get cycling. That's kind of the issue that we're having, is loads that we're cycling out of the USG are not cycling out of the Ruger 5.7 or the Mark II with the DT Chaos slide cover on there because of the increase in weight from the red dot sight that we have on there. So we're going to see what kind of function we get between them and just kind of check out this load while we're at it. We have our Pro Chrono digital as always. Hope you can read the screen. The sun and the angle may be blocking it, so I'll read the velocities out loud. We'll start with our USG. This is my original 5.7. We have the Eden Perfection flat face trigger on here. We'll just fire 10 rounds of each. $11.13, $10.49, $10.64, $10.38, $10.63, $10.90, $10.67, $11.03, $10.84, $10.82. So we were subsonic, that's a good thing. And it cycled. So now we'll go to the regular Mark II with the same 5.1 inch EFK barrel and see what we get. And now we have just a normal plain Jane FN 5.7 MK2 or Mark II. This is the updated design that has a different slide cover on it and a one-piece slide. $10.77, $10.76, $10.78, $10.77, $10.64, $10.64 again, $10.70, $10.74, $10.49, $10.73. Sorry about the beeping. That is the UPS telling me that we're basically out of battery. Oh, poor little UPS. That's what I get for leaving it on too long. I will move this screen this way. You probably can't see this screen either. So we'll just have to go old school and read the velocities to you. And now our 5.7 Mark II. This has the DT Chaos slide cover and red dot sight mount on here. This is where we have the most trouble because we're adding a couple ounces of slide weight that reciprocates, that potentially makes a cycling issue. So far the other two have run, so we'll see what we get on this guy. We're running a Trijicon RMR on here. 11.37, 10.53, 10.52, 10.23, 11.12, 10.75, 10.53, 10.97, 10.99, and I didn't get a reading off that last one. Hold on. Let's make sure we got a nice good 10. So far, impressive. 10.39. So it seems like that good 10.25, 10.50 upwards of almost 1100 feet per second is giving us good cycling out of these loads, unless Vanguard is using a different powder than the other guys. But I'm very pleased so far that these are cycling all these guns. Let's check the Ruger next. And now our Ruger 5.7, this is our new purchase. This has a 4.9-inch barrel, all metal slide, no plastic slide cover there. There's not a threaded barrel available for this yet, but I've read companies are going to make a threaded barrel for it. .11-12, 10-54, 10-64, 10-77, 10-98, 10-92, 10-75, 10-77, 10-90, 10-81. Impressive. Cycled this too. That's very good to know. Now if only we had that threaded barrel available. As with any subsonic load, we like to try to check stability before we throw the can on there at about 7 yards. Those are good, clean little 22 cal holes. There are a various amount of different 55 grain full metal jackets on the market, so each one could vary enough to cause stability issues. So we always like to check just in case, because a baffle strike sucks. So far we're not getting good consistent cycling with this load with the suppressor on, although the Kestrel 22 is a heavier 22 suppressor. We've gone ahead and lubed up the 5.7, a little extra oil to see if it's just running a little dry from being run suppressed. Let's see what we get here. Oil to the face. It's trying. Looks like if they go supersonic, you can hear them kind of going to that supersonic because we're right towards that cusp. We're getting cycling with this Kestrel 22. Probably too heavy with the sight combo and suppressor. We'll get the regular Mark II out and see if that's any better. We switch back to our regular Mark II. Like I said, the Kestrel 22 is a heavier suppressor. This thing weighs 8 ounces. Versus, say, the Resistance 22M that I just did at 5.7 ounces. So that extra weight, plus the weight of the optic, could be slowing the slide down enough that it's not allowing it to cycle. But we've had better luck with these than we had with any of the prior stock and other manufacturers that we've been using. Oops. Double feed. I think at this point we're probably going to save what we have in stock and wait for us to get a lighter can. While we have things set up for testing, we have an AR500 Armor 6x8 level 3A Rheinleg panel, which is their 100% aramid fiber construction panel at about 21 feet. We got our Procono digital setup. We're going to take one shot with the Vanguard Outfitters 55 grain Subsonic and see if the particular bullet they're using will penetrate this piece of body armor. I'll put a card somewhere on the screen to any of our previous testing where we've used the factory 55 grain Subsonic and the 62 grain full metal jacket Subsonic that can actually penetrate soft armor. The 55 grain version is just a standard Sierra Match King 55 grain bullet, and for whatever reason that particular lead density and copper jacket thickness at subsonic velocities allows it to penetrate armor. We did a whole test of about 4 different parts of testing subsonic ammunition and its ability to penetrate armor. I'll probably throw a link to that playlist too, so if you get bored because you're on quarantine, you can watch it. Velocity 10.26. Here's our shot right here. We tested this in the same day as the 22 mag. There was our 22 mag shot way down there. There is nothing else in the way of this shot right here. That is a fair hit. And there is no pass through. I can feel that bullet in there. I can even feel it in the front of the panel. There's just a little baby divot there. Again, as I mentioned in a lot of my videos, I think Paul Harrell said this, sometimes he goes back to the beginning of the time to explain things, and sometimes I do. Always good to have a compressible media to test body armor. This clay is a little on the hard side today, but anything that kind of mimics the body and can absorb some of that's always a good idea to use for body armor testing. We still don't have a 16-inch or ideal platform to check accuracy in our 5.7, so we haven't included that really in any of our videos yet, but we're trying to get one of the Excel Arms 16-inch 5.7 guns to check out. As far as a clone of SB193, we still don't have that bullet construction in this particular 55 grain full metal jacket, so if you're looking for that kind of performance against body armor, this bullet choice would not be it. We're getting closer to finding the right combination of charge weight and how close we are to subsonic, supersonic, and cycling our MK2 actions with a suppressor. It seems like we're going to need a sub 6 ounce suppressor on the MK2 or the MK2 with the Doran Technologies slide cover and RMR mount on there. We don't have any info about a threaded barrel from Ruger yet, but if we do, we're definitely going to have to check these subs with a can on that. As always, I'd like to thank Vanguard Outfitters, my Patreon supporters, and you all for watching. Until next time, catch you at the range.